To start things off, let's cover an old corpse with a deadly curse of an effect. Endless Decay is a level 5 zombie that can be special summoned from your hand when you have less than 1,000 life points. Its only other Yeah, that's genuinely painful. Its only other effect is that its attack becomes equal to what the opponent's life points are, minus 100. As such, it can be a deadly swinger combined with not having any text that could hinder its use in a zombie beatdown deck. In comparison, the real-life version needs 2,000 life points or less to special summon from hand, and its attack only becomes half the opponent's life points. I always seem to rag on big beat sticks, but let's talk about the only format where Endless Decay actually exists. Literally just duels where you and your friends have an absurd amount of life points, where you're also forced to run Mech Lord Emperor Grenell and Ancient Leaf. And that's the only format you see Endless Decay in. In those duels, the real Endless Decay is a comically large beatstick, but if we apply the anime version, that format ceases to exist because it brings your opponent's life points down to 100 like its name was Raska. Applied to the real game, however, and no, it wouldn't be game-breaking. It would still be a hilariously large beatstick, but now it hits harder and can beat over a Utopia. That's about the only difference it makes. Still, it's a big dumb beatstick at heart, and he really is trying his best at that role. Only reason this thing is any good in the first place is because zombies revive like no one's business, and it's really easy to get out if you want to destroy your opponent's entire career. Bonus points if you beat arrow mages, as you hit them once and their deck ceases to function in any sort of meaningful capacity. Ah, damn, this guy again? Well, guess I can hand this one off to another guest on the channel! Meet Blade Yu-Gi-Oh! He talks about decks that are crazy right now, and has recently been going on a kick talking about decks that were influential in this game's history, like Blue Eyes or DDD. So go on ahead and check his stuff out. But before that, see what the TCG player thinks about the manga's version of Bahamut Shark.
Before I get into Bahamut Shark, thank you JCD for having me on here. Anyways, with that in mind, Bahamut Shark in the TCG is actually pretty good because you can summon a card like Totally Awesome. But in the manga, because it was never in the anime, it was only in the manga, Bahamut Shark actually was way superior. First off, I think the biggest thing to note is that it's a generic rank 4 instead of it being specifically locked to water material. So instead of 2 level 4 water monsters, it would be 2 level 4 monsters. Also, its effect reads once per turn you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, special summon 1 Xyz monster from your extra deck with a rank lower than this card's rank. So again, instead of it being locked to waters, it's absolutely generic. While the Xyz monster doesn't actually get any material, this can still summon some amazing cards. For example, you're telling me that our generic rank 4 gives you a free Solemn? Like, that's absolutely amazing. Why would I complain if I could overlay any 2 level 4 monsters into a Bahamut Shark? This effect is not a once per turn at all, meaning I can summon multiple Bahamut Sharks, link them away, and then go into more Totally Awesomes with rank 4s. So 100% I think Bahamut Shark is definitely an amazing card, but it's way superior in the manga than in the TCG.
Ninjas have had a weird point in Yu-Gi-Oh! Ranging from Dark Simorg and Mist Valley tech engines to builds focused on each set's gimmicks like level manipulation and the transformation arts for the Dragon Ninjas. It genuinely feels like the ninjas are the most accurate and flavorful deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! History, considering I never have any idea what they do and they sneak around you and surprise attack with anything they can think of. Arc 5 also took a swing at this with Twilight Ninjas and introduced our number 8 slot, Twilight Ninja Shogun Getsuga. You see, what Getsuga does IRL is he can switch himself from attack to defense to revive 2 ninjas from the graveyard once per turn except himself. Anime version does not have that restriction, plus it is not a hard once per turn effect. Meaning if you combo this with cards that force him into attack mode, you got a constant way to revive and loop the graveyard for plays reviving even himself from the graveyard for even more revival. Even if you don't feel like wasting cards changing him into attack mode, don't worry, you can just summon another Getsuga into another Getsuga and link away the others to get more Getsugas and Getsuga targets, and honestly Getsuga doesn't sound like a real word anymore as much as a concept. Granted, that concept is triple Saryuja at the very least, and whatever else you can think of with infinite monsters at the most. It's a level 8 and does require some previous setup though, so that's why I can't justify putting it any higher. If that sounds weird or unfair, as if I have a distaste for ninjas or something, just know that every card past this is just ridiculous to a degree that this can't top on average. Ever wanted to be effectively a voodoo doll and pass on your damage to the opponent? Well, here's Spell of Pain for you sadists. Spell of Pain is a spell card that is able to reflect damage the opponent dishes out from you to them for an instance. The main difference is in what kind of damage is reflected, as the IRL version is only effect damage, while the anime version is any kind of damage. Furthermore, the anime version allows you to inflict damage from one of your own cards back at the opponent, and that's the big one. Granted, the whole battle damage thing, I mean, doing this you can reverse a major loss of life points back at them like a quick play magic cylinder, or even crash something weak into a beefy boss monster like it was Amazon's Sword Woman. Such ideas to actually, well, destroy the opponent would be Ring of Destruction on something huge like a God card to wipe out all 8,000 of your opponent's life points, using the very large cubic lad to burn them for 6k, or my personal favorite, just combine the two and play the ring on the Cubic Lord to just kill your opponent outright with 3 cards as long as you have 3 cubics in hand. Little hard to pull off, but you would just run Spell of Pain in cubics anyway. It's a 3k heal and burn spell all at once for the only monster the deck has going for it. Do I think it would be meta? No, I think it would be rogue at best, and maybe even good enough to scare some meta decks into sacrificing consistency to play Hanewada, just to make sure they live through your first turn. Instead of dying at the draw phase, they can just discard a puff ball and make sure they at least get one more turn. In that case, maybe save the ring and hope to god your opponent just loses to a 3k beatstick. Spoke a lot about cubics here because they're probably the best deck to abuse this in. You can really do whatever you want and get creative with it. Put it in the comments, I'd love to see it. Next up is an old-time staple for certain decks. It's Rank Up Magic Astral Force. Used by Astral and Yuma, but primarily Mr. New Order's rank 13 himself, Eliphas. The main difference is that you are not locked down by type or attribute, and the rank can go up by 1 or 2 ranks. Effectively, turn any rank 4 into a rank 5 or 6. Turn that rank 10 exceeds into a rank 12. It's that simple. Lord, this makes me wonder just how potent the metal would have been with this running around. It's definitely bad-worthy considering any rank 4 just turns into, oh, I don't know, infinity. And also any rank 3 turns into, oh, I don't know, infinity. Well, Nova into infinity, but infinity. And remember when we had a rank 4 that could do that back in the day before being tossed into the banned cesspool? Not fun. Rank 1 spam has access to a Gargonic Golem. Galaxy Soldier and this card could make Tomahawk if it were still legal. A bum rank 8 turns into a giant Harpy's Feather Duster on legs. You get the picture. As creatively as this card could be used, it's best for the game that this just never happens. Glad it's nerfed and just solid, and as opposed to, yo dog, I heard you like negate, so I ranked up a negate into another negate. Yeah, that's an old meme, but I think it's coming back to being retro, personally. Ah boy, it's another rank up magic! Rank up magic, the 7th one, is infamous in real life, for the condition where you need to draw it during your draw phase, and reveal it to your opponent, like it's Golden Ladybug, to even use this card, thanks to, you know, if you run it in your deck, you always get it in your opening hand. That's just life. The universe is made of chaos. Well, the anime version would like to drop-kick its shame of a real-life self. Aside from dropping that part of the effect, it lets you summon any number 101 through 107, including the C's, keep that in mind, from graveyard or extra deck for free with its effects negated, and then you can Xyz summon it into any Chaos Xyz that is 1 rank higher. Effectively, you can get a free way to summon a 101 through 107 and then immediately use them for Chaos Xyz monsters that are 1 rank higher. Not even just the Chaos versions of those numbers. So, I mean, the Ultimate Trainer, I guess? I mean, the numbers are just kind of really good. The best target most of the time is C101 anyway, in all honesty, given its effects either way are powerful. Especially the anime version for not needing 101 itself for its main effects, hilariously. Other options include the Umbral Horror Boss Monster, as that's all I really care to call him. Negation on the back of having your opponent's life points and making them discard. Sign me up for some busted-ass effects just compiled together like a hero sandwich. Just like smashed like a hydraulic press. It's all like there's a little cube. You can it's like the Jetsons food. All that. It's all together. You can make the gigantic beatstick that is number C107 and just kind of have your way with your opponents. Or if they played honest or something, go into C104 Ragnafinity and just burn them for game. That's some replay tuber hype right there. The options with this card are endless, and I'm sure I missed the best use of this card, but those alone are enough for me to put it right up there with some of the best anime cards of all time. Hell, just make this real and see how many Chaos numbers we can get into the meta. I want to see more Dark Knight, damn it! Y'all should have seen this coming, probably by the thumbnail, so here we go. Revival Gem is the OG stall monster. Being able to respawn itself whenever destroyed immediately after the fact gives it a whole new level of walling, especially given Gem Defender as a concept. The only true way to kill it would be to use a non-destruction means of getting rid of the pest. Even Yami knew how hilariously fun it was, given he stole it from Strings and forced Slifer to keep attacking it, reviving itself to Yami's field, forcing Strings to draw cards until he decked out. Keep in mind, if your opponent takes it and then kills it, it will spawn to their board and continue to do so for the rest of the game. Tech in a mind control if you want to make sure you can counter your opponent's revival jam, or counter the counter to your own revival jam. This card alone could bring mind control to 3, mark my words on that one. It simply refuses to die, and you can just afford to do whatever you want with all that time. Take out the opponent, probably. Honestly, this would be the most annoying card on the list, as you don't even lose on the spot. You have to wait 40 turns just to die to a newly improved empty jar. Yeah, that's honestly just depressing, especially since stall is such a saddening idea to this game. And that bad cards that work sometimes and are annoying, like Self-Destruct Button and Final Countdown, are on the ban list. Oh god, Final Countdown. Nope, nope, nope. Next one. Next one. Hey look, a popular tech card even better in its manga incarnation. Ties of the Brethren was used by Dark Nixon. You know, the dude who ran Machina Force? Yeah, I don't know anything about him, and trust me, I'd be making a Richard Nixon joke right now, but the only thing I care to remember is Watergate and his victory hand signs upon quote-unquote resigning. Lame fusion bosses and the growing unrest and distrust in the American political system aside, Ties of the Brethren was most certainly a powerful card. For you see, in the real-life version, a payment of 2,000 life points is necessary, and you have to target one monster that is level 4 or lower, and it's restricted to the attribute on top of the level and type, as well as losing special summons and the battle phase for the turn. Pretty big cost, just for the sake of getting 2 monsters, but a lot of decks like Counter Fairy still ran it. What is it in the manga? Well, you need to pay 1,000 life points to summon 2 level 4 monsters of the same type from hand or deck, but only those 2 monsters can be attributed nor attack. Wow. Needless to say, if we got manga ties, things would be a lot more off-putting in the meta. It's the closest card to Anime Soul Charge I can think of that isn't just Anime Soul Charge, and it shares the same problems. Unlimited monster resources, basically no restriction, free monsters are free, your deck is so finely tuned you can call it Necro's levels of consistency, etc. If you ever want to play a fun deck that does fun things but is nowhere near consistent, just use this and all of your problems will be solved. Hey kids, now we're in the part of the list where it's just jank. It's just some jank garbage. It's Duelist Kingdom. That should tell you all you need. Multiply is the spell that lets you multiply 1 Kuriboh into 5 tokens in real life. However, it serves the main goal of increasing that number to infinity in the anime. It was the main tool that Yami and Yugi used against Pegasus and his Thousand Eyes Restrict, as well as the wall of Kuribohs facing off against Kaiba. It was even used in Yu-Gi-Oh! R by Yako Tenma, with a more concrete effect of being able to make any number of copies of one monster you control with 500 or less attack. Which is the effect we're going off of today, as it's the dumbest effect on the face of the earth. Sure, you can use Kuriboh and use literally infinite monsters to link everything away, spending thousands of dollars on max rarity cards just to flex. But that's nowhere near the upper limit of multiply. Have you ever heard of Time Lords? Yeah, just burn your opponent for 1 billion when I draw a card. Have your opponent's life points into 1 just to meme. Do whatever you want. You have infinite monsters to make use of. If there's ever a Link version of Gaga Cowboy, this is an FTK that works on the basis of pure memes. Tell me in the comments what your favorite use of Multiply is, and I'll put my favorite in the outro of the next video coming out. If you see this video later, I'll still heart my favorites just to show how much I love crazy anime combos my audience comes up with. But enough dawdling. Off to number 1! Our final card of today is Pegasus's own Tom the Cat. Mimikat is one of the more meme cards for a Toon deck, letting you yoink a spell, trap, or monster from the opponent if you got a Toon World and a Toon Monster. Or, you know, if you play Kingdom like someone with a brain. Now, there are actually 2 versions of this spell. One from Duel Monsters that's pretty much the same, but no need to have the Toon requirements, which is still absurd. But the one making the list is from GX, in Pegasus's duel with Crowler and Bonaparte. For you see, this version allows you to banish any 5 cards out of your deck, to add 1 card from the opponent's graveyard to your own. With this, you have an 18 card extra deck, and they have a 12. You can set up any banish-related cards like Necroface and Soul Absorption for those sick gains and deck destruction along with stealing combo pieces. What's better than banishing 15 cards from your opponent's deck and yoinking whatever power card they were going to use on you or just used on you last turn? Not much. Just in general, something like this should never be made plausible. Orcus are already busted in the OCG. They're coming to the TCG with dangers, for God's sake. We do not need more crazy shit that helps them banish. No. It's a combo starter too. No! It's like Destruction of Destiny, but even faster, and it's stale shit! Maybe this is what Metaphys needs to become a threat? I don't want that to ever be a question. Let alone be a question that's answered with a yes.